Welcome into the Heat Report by Chat Sports. I am Nic Rohloff. Two fun topics on today's show. Jimmy Butler, is he going to go kill mode? Well, that's what Brian Windhorst said and expects this upcoming year. And then Tyler Herro sat down for an interview. We'll talk about what he had to say about his expectations for Miami and himself for this upcoming season. But before we get into those two topics, we do have something on deck for today. I want to beat our record from August, and ironic enough, you guys got the #1 liked video this month on my birthday. Shout out to y'all, 444 likes. But on today's show, I want to get to 450 likes. So hit that thumbs up icon, and let's make August 19th our August month like record. Let's start with Jimmy Butler. Is he going to go scorched earth on the NBA this upcoming season? I've talked about it in the past, but now Brian Windhorst is also talking about it as well. Windy said that Jimmy Butler, I think, is highly motivated. At times, it looks like he's looking for reasons not to play, but I think he'll be in killer mode to prove himself to the Heat. And you might be asking yourself, well, why would he be proving himself to Miami? Well, if you remember this offseason, he expressed the want and desire to have a 2-year extension that takes place next season, gets rid of the player option, so he gets 2 more guaranteed years after this one, and is $113 million over those 2 seasons. Miami was hesitant to give it to him and says, well, let's just play this year out, which could ultimately lead to Jimmy Butler opting out of his player option next season, which makes this year contract year, if you will. So I think a career year could be loading for Jimmy Butler, and not for his entire career. I don't expect him to have the best season of his illustrious career this year in the regular season, but at least with the Miami Heat, because we know what Jimmy is. He is an excellent playoff player that rises to the occasion and shows up in the big moments. But during the regular season, he doesn't play more than 65 games. He doesn't average 24 points per game. He doesn't really take the regular season as serious as some other NBA stars do, and it's caused a lot of criticism for himself from NBA fans, media, and Heat fans as well, including yours truly, because it's very frustrating to watch the Heat's best player go out there and half-ass it half of the regular season. It's why I've actually deemed Bam Adebayo the #1 player on the Miami Heat for the first 82 games. And then once the playoff rolls around, Jimmy Butler is that guy. But I think it's going to be the opposite this year. I believe he will have a dominant season in the regular year, because I think he knows that in order for him to get paid from the Miami Heat in that 2-year Supermax, he needs to have a good regular season. And if he wants to opt out of his player contract next year and player option and get a bag from a different team, well, they're going to have the same concerns because Jimmy Butler is 35 when the season starts. So if he wants to get a contract with more than $55 million, totaling $113 million totally guaranteed, he's going to have a strong regular season and prove he actually cares outside of the playoffs. So my expectations for him this year, I think he is actually going to average 24 points per game. I think he's going to play in 65 games or more, which would qualify him for the All-NBA award. And if he averages 24 this season because of how good he is defensively, he's going to be on the All-NBA team. And I also believe he's going to be an NBA All-Star this year. He knows he has to stay healthy. He knows he has to play a lot. And when he puts up those statistics and looks more engaged in the regular season, he's going to rack up those awards. And I will say this too, if Jimmy Butler does what I just said, he plays 65 plus, he averages 24 or more a game, is an All-NBA type player, he is going to allow Miami to be one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference and be as competitive as they want to be in this Eastern Conference playoffs and stuff, because when he's locked in, when he's engaged, the Heat are up there with one of the top teams, because when he's playing well, Bam's playing well, those are 2 top 20 players in the NBA, and you have the best coach in the NBA in Eric Spoelstra as well. When Jimmy is locked in, when he's playing his best basketball, and he's putting forth the correct effort, the Heat are one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference and the NBA. So what are your expectations for Jimmy Butler? Let me know down in the comments section. You can go the games played route. You don't even have to give me everything. Just tell me, what are your expectations for Jimmy Butler? I mentioned that I think they could be one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference this upcoming year if Jimmy plays 65-plus games in the regular season and actually tries. There's only 3 teams that I think are guaranteed to finish above Miami. I think Boston, Philadelphia, New York are the guaranteed teams. I think those rosters are just too dang good with everything the Knicks have done. Sixers obviously bringing in Paul George, Andre Drummond, some other pieces as well, and then Boston being those returning champions. But if Miami is able to stay healthy. You get a lot of games from Tyler Herro. You get 65 plus from Jimmy, and those games are actually ones that he's engaged and locked in with. I don't see an issue with saying they could finish above Indiana, finish above Milwaukee, Orlando, Cleveland. I have no issue saying any of those things. And I actually will go out on the record and say this. If you get 65 games from Bam, Jimmy, and Tyler, you can even say Terry. Say Terry plays 55 games. I don't even care. But if you get your three top players of Tyler, Bam, and Jimmy, all of them playing 65 games, and they don't have to all be together, but if all three of them only miss 17 games this season at max, they will be a 4 or 5 seed this upcoming year because you're going to get stuff from Jovic, Jaquez, a full year of Rozier. When you start mixing in those aspects of it and your top 3 players stay healthy and play the majority of the season, you're going to have a stronger regular season. Last year, Miami won 46 games. I could see them winning 49 games, 50 games this year if those 3 guys play a lot and stay on the floor. And if that's the case, they win 49, 50 games. I think that's going to be good enough for a 4 or 5 seed without a doubt. I have more to talk here with Tyler Herro, but we are sponsored by PrizePicks, the #1 daily fantasy sports platform in North America. It's the easiest to play and join more than 5 million active members playing right now. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you can watch the winnings roll in. Actually, you can turn 10 to 1,000 right now with as little as 4 correct entries. And you can play it in so many different ways. You can go to the daily basketball scene, daily football, daily baseball, hockey, golf, it doesn't matter. Or you can do season-long projections, which actually is what I did earlier today. I took the more than on Bam Adebayo, 9.9 rebounds. I think he averages double digits this season without a question. I also think Jalen Brunson is good for more than 6.8 assists per game. With Mikal Bridges coming along, Brunson's going to probably take a little bit less responsibility offensively in terms of scoring, and I think he's going to dish it more this year where he averages 7+ assists this season. And the #1 overall pick, Zachary Rissache. I don't think he's going to have that strong of a season in terms of scoring the basketball, so I took the less than on his 10.2 points per game average. It's a 3-player entry to win 5 times my money, and I love the fact that you can do season-long totals. You can also span it from a different sports. Like I have combined Bam Adebayo rebounds and Tua Tagovailoa passing touchdowns in the past. It's just allows you to play daily fantasy sports and make your sports watching much more enjoyable when you can do different things like you can on PrizePicks. And right now, they're offering you a first deposit match up to $100 when you download the PrizePicks app and use code CLNS. That's a code CLNS on PrizePicks for a first deposit match up to $100. Download the app today. PrizePicks. Run your game. All right, let's transition over to Tyler Herro now because he spoke out on a podcast interview today. I think it was with Matt Issa. I want to get that correctly. Yes, it is. And he said some things on the Miami Heat and himself personally. Let's dive into what he said about Miami first. Tyler said that it may look different, but we have young guys we hope continue to get better. Rozier is healthy now and ready to compete. Jimmy is extra motivated after not being able to play in the playoffs last season. We haven't been healthy yet. But we feel like when we do get healthy, we have a very deep team, a team that is deep enough to make a run in the East and ultimately win the NBA title. I have one reaction to these quotes from Tyler Herro. Don't tell me, show me. I am sick and tired of hearing Jimmy, hearing Spo, hearing Bam, hearing Herro, and others talk about if we were just healthy. And I know they don't use it as an excuse that often, but it just is exhausting. It's exhausting to me. I imagine it's exhausting to all of you watching at home that are also diehard Heat fans. Like, I don't want to hear, man, if we could just stay healthy for one time. Do it. Like, I know some freak injuries are going to happen, like going up for a layup and falling on someone's foot and you turn your ankle and it's an ankle sprain for 3 weeks to a month. Like, I know those things can't be controlled and some of them are unavoidable, but can you just show me that you can stay healthy and play together? Because like I mentioned, when you do play together, I think you are one of the top teams in the NBA and in the Eastern Conference and can compete in the playoffs for an NBA championship as we've seen them get to the finals twice in the last 5 seasons. Like, can you just show me? Stop telling me. Go out there, stay healthy, and perform this season. That is all I ask because you have the young talent with Kel'el Ware, Jaquez, and Jovic to infuse with the veterans of Rozier, Jimmy, Tyler, and Bam that should make this team one of the more dangerous teams that aren't talked about enough in the NBA. We'll talk about some personal goals for Tyler as well in just a second. But make sure you are subscribed to the channel because we put out daily content on the Miami Heat. But we're also losing our August sub battle against the Bulls report. We have 169 subs in the month of August. The Bulls report has 258, so we're down quite a bit here. Let's battle back, hit that sub button. I don't want to lose to the Bulls, but you're also getting the best coverage on YouTube around the Miami Heat, so it's a win-win. All right, Herro also was asked about something that he wants to do this upcoming season, and he responded saying, I really want to sharpen up my efficiency to maximize my abilities as a scorer. And hearing him say that exact line, it made me very, very happy because that's all I ever ask of Tyler. Sure, it's cool to look on paper and say, yeah, he's averaged 20 points per game in 3 of the last 4 seasons. That's awesome. It's good stuff. It really is. But I think the Heat are better when he doesn't have to take 18 to 20 shots to get those 20 points. If he could take 14 or 15 shots a game and average 17 to 20 points, well, then that's where we get more efficient. And as I mentioned with Tyler, he has averaged 20 points per game in the last 3 of the 4 seasons. And the three-point efficiency is good. 39.9, 37.8, 39.6. He's one of the better three-point shooters in the NBA. There's no denying that. It's inside the three-point arc is where I really am more concerned. We've talked about it in the past. He's one of the worst finishers at the rim in the NBA. His finishing rate in the restricted area is just above 50%. League average was 59.9% last season. So he's 9% under the league average at finishing inside the restricted area. He needs to become a better finisher to complement his jump shot game. Yes, he's really good at that 8-foot floater range, which is what probably his signature shot is inside the arc. But if he's able to maximize his scoring and efficiency, well, then he's got to become a better shooter or finisher at the rim amongst the trees. And I have said this on previous shows as well. I'd rather see Tyler Herro average 16 and 17 points per game, but shoot 48, 49% from the field and 39% from 3 than shot Chuck to get 20 a night and shoot 43, 44% from the field. Like, he could be a 20-point per game scorer in the league. We've seen it 3 times, but he has to shoot 18, 19 times a game and shoot 43, 44% from the field. You raise that efficiency up to 46, 47, 48% a night, but lower your points per game total down a couple, well, then I have no problem with that because the buckets you're giving us are more meaningful because you're not making or missing as many shots as you're taking. Like, it's something that I really would like to see Tyler do, and I'm glad that he thinks that he should do it in his mind because it's how he's going to elevate his game as well as the Miami Heat as a team overall. Predict it for me down in the comments section. How many points per game will Tyler Herro average in 24-25? I'm going to go on the limb and say it is 18 points. I think Butler takes a step up and averages 24. I think Bam takes a step up and averages 22, 23 points per game this season, which will ultimately lead Herro down a little bit. And then also, you have to take in the fact that a full year of Terry Rozier. That's going to be very interesting to see how Rozier is implemented into this roster because him and Tyler only played 11 games together last season. One of them was always hurt at one point, it felt like, after that trade happened. So we don't really know how those two are going to work. Now, if you've watched the show over the last 2 weeks, you would know that I'm not very confident in their ability to play together due to their defensive inabilities and deficiencies at the rim, but I am intrigued to see how a full year of Terry Rozier on this Miami Heat roster impacts Tyler Herro's statistical output, but I do want to see Tyler become more efficient and average 16 or 17 points per game rather than have to shoot 18, 19 times a game and average 20. All right, that's going to do it for today's show. Make sure you are following me over on Twitter at Nic_Rohloff. I'm tweeting about the Miami Heat every day, and I also did a little fun exercise. Shout out to 5 Reasons Sports Network. They tweeted out, what are your top 8 players in Heat history? I tweeted out my top 8 in response to them. I'd also like to see your top 8. If you like my tweet and retweet my top 8 tweet today and follow me, I'll give you a follow back.